increase the activity of the
Okay,
heart.
precordial bulge basically indicates hypertrophy, and it indicates to a chronic nature of the cardiovascular disease. Okay, and how do you look for that?
Asking the patient to lie down in the supine position, and we have to see from a side.
Right, or from the foot end. Okay, so in this case, according to you, there is no precordial bulge.
Yes.
Okay, and there is no extra pulsations. Apical impulse appears to be in the 15th order space.
No.
Trachea central. No abnormal
Trachea, sir.
pulsations. No scar marks.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
scar marks. Where you look for the scar marks? Either in the center. Okay, right, for open heart surgery, or submammary scar to for PDA surgery. Okay. Okay.
In palpation, the tracheal position is confirmed and it is in the central line. The apical impulse is felt in the sixth intercostal space, lateral to the nipple.
Okay, how will you look for apical impulse, and what is apical impulse? What is the definition of apical impulse?
Apical impulse represents the beating of the heart at the apex.
That is not a definition. That is a layman's imagination of apical impulse. Anybody from the audience? Apical impulse. Okay, it is the outermost and lowermost definite cardiac impulse, isn't it? Apical impulse. Okay, it is the outermost and lowermost definite cardiac activity. Okay, where you feel that is the apical impulse. Okay, usually at what levels it is perceived in children?
In children, fourth or fifth intercostal space.
Okay, at birth it is at the fourth intercostal space, right? And it around during older children they will have the fifth intercostal space, and at around 9 years it will be at the adult position, which is 1 inch just inside the nipple at the fifth intercostal. Okay, right. What is the nature of the apical impulse usually? You know, there are different apex, say heaving apex, tapping apex, isn't it? So what are they, and what is the normal apex? Okay, normal apical impulse usually it is felt only in the first 1/3 of the systole. Okay, right? Heart is somewhat like this. Okay, and then when it is systole, when it is pushing blood into the systemic circulation. Okay, right? It it retracts somewhat. Okay, so you can feel okay only during the first 1/3 of the systole. Okay, normally, right? And it is present in only one intercostal space, and it is usually of 2.5 square centimeters. That is a normal apex. Okay, right? Heaving and tapping. Tapping is only the quality will be increased, whereas heaving, even the duration of the apical impulse will be increased. Okay, the example for heaving apex are regurgitant lesions. Okay, tapping apex stenotic lesions. Okay, right. So where is the apex in this child?
In the sixth intercostal space, lateral to the nipple.
Very good. Okay, sixth intercostal space, lateral to the midline. So what is your impression of the apical impulse?
The apical impulse has shifted outward and downward and outward.
What does it indicate?
Left ventricular hypertrophy.
Cardiomegaly, basically cardiomegaly. Okay, whether it is left ventricular or right ventricle, we have to see. Okay, right, by X-ray, by examination, etc. Okay, right.
No thrill is present.
So in the palpation, you looked at the trachea, you looked at the apical impulse, and then you are feeling for the thrill.
Yes, sir.
Thrill. So how will you look for thrill, and what is thrill?
Thrill is a palpable murmur.
Okay, and how it is felt?
It will be
from the base of our fingers. Okay, from the base of our fingers, we keep out the different areas, cardiac areas of the chest. Okay, in different area. If you perceive the murmur, that means that it's a thrill. Okay, usually the grade is above 4. That's how you grade the murmur. Okay, so you look for trills. Okay, right. Then no trill or trill
And no
is
parasternal teeth.
no parasternal. Parasternal is felt by the ulnar border.
It's
Okay,
the
you see
ulnar border.
ulnar border at the left sternal border. Yeah. What does the parasternal
Yes.
heave represent? Suppose if it is present, what does it indicate? It indicates right ventricular hypertrophy,
Right
right ventricular or left atrial hypertrophy. Okay,
ventricle.
continue.
Yes. No palpable P2 is present.
Okay, palpable P2. Why palpable P2? No, there is a reason.
In VSD,
No, VSD. Okay, you don't know. Okay, palpable P2 indicates pulmonary hypertension. Okay, pulmonary hypertension in VSD indicates Eisenmengerization.
I
Okay,
see.
usually in VSD the increased blood will be going to the pulmonary circulation. Okay, if it is untreated, okay, a point will come where the pulmonary pressure will become more than the systemic pressure. Okay, so that is why palpable P2 indicates pulmonary hypertension. Okay, the child has to be operated immediately. That is the importance of that P2, palpable P2. Okay, right.
Yes. Percussion. The left border corresponds to the apex and the right border corresponds to the right sternal margin.
Okay,
Auscultation.
auscultation. Okay. How many cardiac
S1 is
areas are
soft.
there? How many cardiac areas are there? And where are
4
they?
cardiac areas.
Okay.
Aortic area in the right second intercostal space near to the sternum.
Okay.
Pulmonary area in the left second intercostal space.
Hmm.
And the next is a tricuspid area, which is in the fourth left intercostal space, and mitral area, which is near the apical impulse, that is in the fifth intercostal space, half inch medial to the midclavicular line.
How many sounds are there?
Uh, Normally, S1 and S2 is present.
Okay.
An additional sound S3
S1 is best heard at
in the tricuspid area and the mitral area.
mitral area. Okay. Usually when you comment about the S1, abnormalities of S1, you should comment after listening at the apical region. Okay. And what about the S2? Where is it best heard or best classified?
Aortic area.
No, from the pulmonary area.
Pulmonary.
Okay, right? S1 is to heard in all the areas, but when you want to comment about S1, suppose the S1 is soft, okay, right? It is loud S1, it's the soft S1. Okay, you have to comment after listening at the apical area. Okay, when you want to comment about the S2, okay, right? You have to comment after auscultating in the pulmonary area. Okay, how many components are there?
Two components.
Okay.
A2, P2.
A2, P2. Okay, so aortic it closes. Okay, aortic valve closes before the pulmonary valve. What are the abnormalities of this gap between A2 and P2?
VSD.
No, not VSD. I mean, VSD in example. What are the abnormalities? Wide and variable S2. Okay, as happens in VSD. Wide and fixed P2, as happens in wide and fixed happens in atrial septal defect. Okay, okay, single S2. Okay, can happen in tetralogy of Fallot or pulmonary atresia, etc. Okay, these are the abnormalities of the S2. S2 is very, very important for examination of the cardiovascular system. Okay, right? When you are presenting a case of cardiovascular system, first thing you should read about is the S2. What is S2? What is the gap? What are the abnormalities? How do I know about the abnormalities of S2, etc. Okay, right. Auscultation.
S1 is soft and S2 is normal.
No, first you should mention S1, S2 heard in all the cardiac areas, and then mention that S1 is soft, and S2 is normal. Okay, normal is split. Okay, right.
Then high-pitched pan-systolic murmur of grade 3 by 6, best heard in the left third and fourth intercostal space, which is non-radiating.
So 3 by 6.
Yes.
That's why there is no thrill. Okay. So high pitched pansystolic murmur.
Yes, sir.
How do you know that it's pansystolic? Why not diastolic?
While hearing the murmur, we have to palpate the carotid artery.
Okay, if it comes along with the carotid artery, it's a systolic murmur, isn't it? And since it comes
Yes,
throughout the systole, it is a pansystolic murmur. Okay.
yes.
Since it comes throughout the systole, it becomes a pansystolic murmur. Okay. Name some examples of pansystolic murmur. Yeah, it's simple, very simple. Anybody
Ventricular
can-
septal defect.
Huh?
Ventricular septal defect.
Okay.
Any left to right shunt can.
No. PDA will go for a continuous murmur. Not all left right shunts will have pansystolic murmur. Any one.
Mitral regurgitation.
Oh, very good. Okay, mitral regurgitation, very important. Okay, to differentiate mitral regurgitation from a VSD. Okay, mitral regurgitation murmur is best heard at the apex. Okay, and it radiates to the axilla. Whereas the VSD pansystolic murmur is best heard in the left, third to fourth intercostal space. Okay, which is the VSD area. That's how you differentiate a VSD murmur from a mitral regurgitation murmur. Okay, right. So you heard a pansystolic harsh murmur of grade 3 by 6. Usually grade 3 by 6 are not very harsh. Okay, but anyway, okay, the grade 3 by 6, yeah, and the best heard in the left lower intercostal space. Is there any radiation?
No, sir.
No radiation. Okay. Usually when small VSDs, okay, that too harsh you are telling, they'll be radiating to the other cardiac area. Okay, you have to, when you examine you will understand. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, right. Right.
Respiratory system examination.
Some murmurs, no? Murmurs, like classify murmurs, give examples. Murmurs could be systolic or
Murmur can be systolic murmur or diastolic murmur.
okay. Systolic murmurs could be early systolic.
Systolic murmur or diastolic murmur.
Okay, systolic could be pansystolic.
Mid-systolic murmur.
Okay, ejection systolic or early systolic. Okay, right? Pansystolic murmur, the examples are VSD and mitral regurgitation. Diastolic murmur can be mid-diastolic. Okay, example for mid-diastolic is
MS.
MS minor, medical superintendent.
Mitral stenosis.
Okay, mitral stenosis. Right. Okay. Continue.
Respiratory system examination.
Next, always after cardiovascular system examination, what will you see? What should you check first? EVS case. Abdomen. Okay, why abdomen?
If it is a right ventricular failure, it can present with the hepatomegaly.
That's right.
Hepatomegaly.
Okay. If there is splenomegaly, just hold on. Yeah. Continue.
Abdomen.
If there is splenomegaly, what does it indicate? Infective endocarditis. Okay. Splenomegaly will be there presenting infective endocarditis. Tender hepatomegaly will be there in congestive cardiac failure, especially right side failure.
Right.
Respiratory system.
Normal vesicular breath sound is here. No added sounds are here. And CNS examination, no focal neurological deficit.
Chief complaint is repeated respiratory tract infection, but there are no added sounds.
Patient is on medication.
Okay, that's why. So it has reduced. Okay, right. Hmm.
Summary.
Summary,
Candidate
you have to give the diagnosis. You have finished everything.
provisional probable diagnosis congenital asynaptic heart disease, probably ventricular septal defect.
That's all. Huh? That's your diagnosis.
With in sinus rhythm with no infective endocarditis, pulmonary hypertension, or functional disability.
There is something which is there in your case. You didn't mention.
With the growth restriction of growth,
Something else also is there. That's why the child came to the hospital.
with the recurrent respiratory tract infection,
After that,
breathless,
so why is the child having breathlessness?
because
According
of,
to your history, there is breathlessness and pedal edema. So what is the
with the
clinical?
congestive cardiac failure.
That's what. With congestive cardiac failure. Okay. The congenital heart disease. It's a
Probably
congenital
VST.
acyanotic congenital heart disease. Probably VSD in sinus rhythm with congestive cardiac failure with no infective endocarditis, no what,
With the
pulmonary
endocarditis.
hypertension, with growth retardation, with functional disability, grade 1 or 2, whatever. Okay. Yeah, continue.
Investigation.
Right. How will you manage investigation and treatment? Okay.
Treatment. Investigation. First is ECG.
First is always CBC. Okay, any disease, CBC routine you see whether the child is anemic. Okay, the child is anemic and with this, the child will go for congestive cardiac failure. Okay, so look out for CBC. Then X-ray, chest X-ray, with
Chest X-ray.
cardiomegaly. Okay, because in your case there is a 16 rod space of apical impulse. So with then X-ray, ECG, M-mode echocardiogram. These are the investigations. How will you manage this case? Treat this.
Then we have to grade it like
Okay.
very defect.
So, according to your history, is it a small VSD or moderate or large? With your history and findings.
Small VSTs.
Small VSD, okay, because the child didn't have any symptoms till 5 years, probably a small VSD only. Okay, but usually small VSDs where they will have very harsh murmur, more than 4, 5. Okay, but accord your findings are not matching with your history. Okay, so probably usually small VSD they will have a very harsh murmur, grade at least grade 4 with 3. Okay, so it's a small VSD. Okay, and the child is a 6-year-old child. This child is having CCF also. How will you manage?
First, medical management, sir.
What medical management?
Treat the congestive cardiac failure with
How will you treat the
medications like
condition?
diuretics and digoxin
Okay.
and vasodilators like sodium
So
hydroxide.
what is the definitive management for small VSDs?
Uh,
Continue.
so first, medical management. If the patient doesn't improve with medical management, then we'll plan for surgery.
Okay. Yeah.
The aim of the
Small VSD, will you go for surgery?
if the patient doesn't improve with the medical treatment of congestive cardiac failure.
Okay, right. So let me tell you. Okay, this usually small VSDs in young children, if it is diagnosed, okay, they will wait and watch because many of the small VSDs they will close by itself. Okay, 60% by 3 years and 80 to 90% by 6 years. Okay, right? Large VSDs, if they are presenting with repeated congestive cardiac failure, you have to operate as soon as possible. Okay, in your present case, it's a small VSD, but the child's age is 6 years. Okay, After 6 years, usually there is less likely the child has to will go for spontaneous closure. Okay, in such a case, we have to see whether the child is going for pulmonary hypertension, because beyond 6 years it will not close. Okay, and if you don't treat it by surgical management, the child will go for pulmonary hypertension. So you should rule out pulmonary hypertension by doing by seeing the QP/QS ratio. Okay, when you're doing the M mode echocardiography, they will check the pressures in the heart. Okay, right? Pressure in the pulmonary circulation divided by pressure in the systemic circulation. Usually it will be less than 1. If this ratio, QP/QS ratio, is more than 2, you have to operate immediately. Okay, that's the definitive management for it. Okay, usually VSD is a open heart surgery, and there is a patch closure of the device. Okay. Right. Anybody wants to ask anything? Like, any doubt? Presenter want to ask anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah, okay, then if there is nothing, we'll call it a day. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.